Hey guys, what's happening? Welcome to a new upload. I know I haven't uploaded in like 8 months, but I'm keen to get the videos going again. Today we're going to be restoring these. These are SSR reverse mesh 15 by 7 pos zeros. So quite a nice offset wheel for a stock 13. But the only problem is they're really mismatched at the moment and they're looking really mangy. So I'm going to take these apart. First step is WD-40 on the old hardware. And then we'll split the faces and start stripping them for paint. You can see that these have had a hard life. They've been resprayed pretty shitty by the previous owner. In regards to damage to the lips, they're alright. Like they've definitely been drifted on. They've had a few chunks taken out of them at some point in their lives, but yeah, they should clean up nicely and suit the purpose of what I'm using them for, because I'm only using them for skidders anyway. So we've got the WD-40 on the old hardware, so we'll just let them marinate for a bit. I've also got fresh hardware for them. Let me see if I can find it. That one there, they're going to look like those all the way around. I just put one in to see what it was going to look like. So I'm pretty excited. These wheels should come up fantastic once they're done. So much paint. So the faces are apart. Took a lot more effort than we thought, but yeah, the wheels should be easy to clean up like this. That's going to be hard to do in behind the valve stem, but apart from that they should clean up alright. So I'll move on to polishing these barrels now. Take them down the back. So I've got one lip pretty much done. I'm like super happy with how they're coming out. They're coming out probably better than I expected them. A little bit of pitting here that I can't really remove because it's a bit deeper than I'd like to go. You'd need to fully machine that to get that out. But yeah, cleaning up nicely, and I think I'm just gonna hand polish it. I really can't be bothered like buffing them up super shiny, but they should come up alright even just for a hand polish. Super pumped. So just stripping them now. We're just still applying the stripper. We should probably let them sit for a bit now, but it's nice to know that they're all evenly coated now. And it looks like underneath was originally gold, so we'll see what they end up looking like once they're all stripped. Might just leave them gold instead of painting them silver, but we'll have to see.
Alright, stripper A. Good shit, good shit. I haven't seen a stripper like that since Candy back at fucking old Showgirls.
So here's a little side-by-side comparison. You can just see all the crud in that one compared to, well, how relatively clean this one is. This one still has to be polished, so that's not even the final stage. Might have to do another round, just soak them again. So me and Oscar are packing up for the day. Unfortunately, we didn't get the wheels back together. We ran into some dramas with the faces. Unfortunately, the powder coating underneath started to strip a little bit. You can see just down there and in a few other places, like just in the inner side of the hub there. So it looks like I'm going to have to sand them back a little bit and paint them a new colour. I'll probably paint them silver. This is pretty much how they sit at the moment. Unfortunately, yeah, I think I'm going to have to paint these. We'll see how much more paint I can actually pull off them tomorrow, and if I can just pull the rest of the paint off, then yeah, I'll probably leave them, but as long as I can get them looking the same, I'll be happy. Still looks 1,000 times better than what they did. Time to go home. Ready for another big day tomorrow. Got to do a whole service and detail. Then we're ready for halfway hangs. Oh, look at how good she looks in this light. Damn, those OEM tails. Getting rid of those stocks as soon as we put tyres on those meshies on Monday. Life will be good. Okay, so it's a new day. I've brought the gurney with me this time. What I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try get most of the loose paint off with this without using any more stripper. But if it comes to it, I'll have to use more stripper and then use this, and hopefully we should be good after that. So I'm just going to work one wheel at a time so I don't lose track of which one's which. This one's the better one of the two at the moment, and you can see just all that flake that didn't come off yesterday. I think if we would have had the power washer yesterday, we would have been able to take it off pretty easily, so we'll see what happens. So I didn't have any real success with that. The strippers hardened the paint again overnight. If you leave it, the paint seems to harden back up again. The paint's really stuck on there again now, so what I'll have to do is give it another round of stripper and then hit it with the pressure washer, and hopefully everything will just wash right off. I'm just going to move on to doing the lips as well while I'm waiting for the next round of stripper to soak in. So I'll put on some gloves and I'll get the stripper cracking. You can see this one still has quite a bit of residue on it. That's the one that used to be black, and then this one that used to be white is coming up the best, but it's still got heaps of paint flake all over it. I think what's happened is the factory colour is originally gold, and then they've sprayed another layer of gold over the top of that, and then that's what we're seeing flake off at the moment. Although some parts of the factory coating are disappearing, which were probably already like that before it got sprayed with that other coat of gold, which is probably why the previous owners did that. So we'll see how rough they actually end up looking, but I don't mind leaving them a little bit rough as long as I can get most of the paint off it. I'm just going to get started on cleaning up this lip again even more. I'm going to start with some more degreaser and a rough scouring pad there, and then move on to the sanding again, just to try and get every little bit out. Try and cover up this pitting a little bit. You can see it's actually quite bad. It's also time to see how this stripper is going over here. Well, it looks like it's doing alright. I mean, I can't really see a difference at the moment, but yeah, we'll get the pressure washer on that, and yeah, we'll see how it turns out. So I have a big decision to make. I either leave them like this. That's the original gold finish, and you can see how flaky it is, and still bits of paint left over. You can see down in there, it's impossible to get all of that off. These need to be done and on the car tomorrow, so I don't know what to do. It's a big decision, but that one was the worst of them. You can see over here, this one, well, doesn't look better now because I cleaned up that other one, but this one's actually the better one of the two. Alright, so a little update. It's been about an hour, just been cleaning up this other wheel. Still looks like shit, because what I thought was leftover cut and polish was actually white overspray, so that's taken ages to get off. This is how the white face looks. Unfortunately, I think that I am going to have to paint these. That's the one that was originally black, this one. And you can just see there's just too many different coloured paint flecks on it still. And the gold overspray, not the original gold coating that was on it, but the gold that the previous owner put on it before the white layer and before the black layer got put onto it. So unfortunately it looks like I'm going to have to spray these, which isn't the end of the world because I was prepared to do it, but just with this surface now it's going to be extra tricky because of all the paint flakes and the way the paint is from the stripper. I'm going to have to really make sure I sand it down properly, which is going to take ages, and then after that I will move on to painting. So this is a way bigger job than what I expected it to be. Fuck, it's hot outside. If you live in Australia right now, you'll know my pain. I've decided to move inside because I've went and picked up some 2000 grit sandpaper, went on a little lunch run. So this is my workstation for now. I'm gonna go have some lunch and then get back to it. I was gonna rough down the wheels to get them ready for paint, but if I rough them down and they end up looking alright just with the gold surface, like if I can get rid of all those flakes, I'll definitely end up just keeping them gold if I can just clean them up a tiny bit. Got my sandpaper, got the wheel face, got my monster. Let's get it. Whew. Alright, so I just went outside and pressure washed that other face. Most of the loose material did come off, so I'm pretty sure we can get away with painting on top of it now. It's just painstaking work. So if you guys are going to do something like this, I definitely recommend that you just go ahead and get the faces sandblasted, because it's much easier than spending hours and hours sanding each individual crevice of the mesh wheel. If you were using like any other wheel, maybe it had less spokes or something like that, you could get away with it a lot easier, but because the mesh is so intricate, you've just got to use the sandpaper just to get all these places that are pretty much impossible to reach and to sand properly. So I've brought this one inside. It's nice and dry now from being washed off. This is the first one that we did, that we sanded down, and it actually looks alright, but the thing is the second one doesn't look the same. And this is a surface that we can paint on now. I'm just going to take some alcohol wipes just over here. We got plenty of them because my mum and dad own a ute accessory store. Their main business is flares, so got plenty of 3M alcohol wipes around, and I'm just going to take an alcohol wipe and prep this all down for paint basically. Alright, it's bloody hot out here, but about to start painting them. I'll probably end up just stripping them back down and redoing them anyway, but for today I'll just spray them silver, see how we go. If it looks shit, I'll get them powder coated, I guess. So they're starting to take shape. I'm super happy with how they're turning out. So there's some shiny boys now. There's still some imperfections. Obviously I knew it wasn't going to be perfect, but it would have flaked off anyway with the gold if I left it. I'll probably cut out the rest of the painting because I'm just going to have to let it dry for ages because I have to apply the clear. Or before that I have to flip them over and make sure I'm coating them from every angle. So what I'll do is I'll do one heavy layer, let it dry for about half an hour, come out, flip them over, do a heavy layer on the back, make sure that everything is coated, and then let them dry totally before applying clear. The hand polishing is done on this one. You can still see some imperfections because the actual wheel itself is damaged. So far so good. Happy with how it's turning out. Now I'll just go and do some more painting and then get this one up and going. You can see the difference between the hand polish and the not polish just because of the amount of scratches in it from the 1200 grit. And once I go over it with the 2000 grit and then hand polish it, it'll be nice and smooth again like this one. So I had a little issue because I was impatient and I wanted to do the paint faster, well the second side, because I don't have a hook so I can't spray both sides at once. The face fell down while I wasn't there, while I was waiting for it to dry. Just slipped off the cardboard there, and unfortunately the paint wasn't dry enough and it chipped a little bit. But I'm inside now in the aircon. Got some glow rays. I got myself a nice burrito. So I'm gonna go have this while I wait for the paint to dry, and then hopefully I'll be able to flip it over and fix the damage that occurred. Oh, so I've had the longest day and got nothing done really. The lips are all done. They're ready for the faces, but as far as the faces go, that's them here. I have to wait for the paint to fully dry. I'll be able to sand it back once it dries, and then I'll just put clear coat on it. As far as my car goes, she's not washed. Coolant flush done. I just need to give her a wash. Need to clean out all the shit in the area. Look at that. It's terrible. So at this stage, it'll take me every afternoon to get stuff done because I got to go to work this week, and then I leave on Thursday. So got to organise everything. Alright. See you tomorrow morning when the wheels go back together. So we're back again the next morning. Another really hot day. This is how the face is dried. I'm just going to sand them down, get rid of those imperfections. We'll try to at least give them another quick spray, and then yeah, put the clear on and then put them back together quickly because they need to get tyres on them today, so I don't have time. I've put another coat of paint on, fixed up the damage. We'll fix up most of it, and then what I'm going to do is wait for the paint to dry. Going to leave it all day, and then we'll clear it this afternoon and chuck the wheels together. It's currently the afternoon of the morning where I repainted the faces due to the damage, and I'm only just getting around to redoing them now. I'll see if I can turn the lights on in this shed. Wish me luck. Here's how the wheels look. They came out super nice. Well, as good as they could with the condition that they were originally in. But yeah, I'm really glad that I decided to paint these silver. I think with my car, it'll look really nice. I'm really liking the silver on silver. Traditionally, an SSR mesh is a bit darker of a silver center. This is more like an OEM wheel silver. But I'm really liking how it'll all tie together, and hopefully with the hardware it'll be even better than that as well. I'm gonna get this hardware in. I've got these socket head bolts here that are slightly longer than the OEM hardware to help seat the wheel, so hopefully these are long enough. I've got the longer hardware in, as you can see there, and I've got them up in each corner of the wheel. With these sorts of wheels, they have to be seated again, and I want to make sure they're centered basically, and I didn't want to have to use this thing and get the wheel all uncentered, or like get it seated and then it's not in the center, and then yeah, it's all sorts of bad things. So at the moment I'm just going to take this longer hardware, put nuts on. So you can see right there I've started the process of seating the face, and see the difference in the amount of thread between these, well, this one here and this one, and then this one. So I've gotten to the stage now where I'm just going little bit by little bit, seating this wheel. It's taking a little bit more force than what I would have thought, but I'm just slowly working my way around the wheel, making sure the rim stays at about the same level, and then adjusting how many turns I do based on that. So it's just a long process to make sure that it gets seated properly. I've got all the hardware in now. The rim is close to being seated, so the factory size hardware can be put on now. And then I'm actually going to go around and tighten these bit by bit, and then pull these longer ones out, which you can see is still in there. They're the original ones that I used to seat it. Alright, so it's now the next morning. Unfortunately, as I was doing this wheel, I had one of the longer bolts that I was using to seat the wheel, as I was unwinding it, it stripped. Or it didn't strip, it seized, which apparently stainless can do if it's not greased, or depending on the grade of stainless that it is. That was fun getting that out. Ended up snapping it. Got it out in the end, but with a lot of force. Had 2 breakers on it. Got it. Now I'm just going to go around, give it a final tighten. Make sure all the bolts are really tight, and then give them one last little wipe down, and then send them off to the tyre shop. Look at how these came out. Not the best, but best I could do with the resources that I had. They've been rebuilt by hand at this stage. No power tools used, except for if you count the drill driver. So yeah, pretty proud, pretty happy with how they turned out. Can't wait to see some tyres on them. And some silver valve caps. They're the finishing piece, I think. So, it's now the next day. I'm all ready to go. The car's looking good. I gave it a wash this morning. That's how the new wheels look. They look so good on it. Unfortunately, because my guards were rolled quite aggressively by the previous owner, it doesn't quite sit flush. But they'll look a lot better once I zero out the camber. I just don't have camber arms at the moment, but that's something that I want to do. That 90s style fitment. They sit pretty good for what they are, 770. Really happy with how they turned out, really stoked. They look amazing on the car, and I'm so glad that I finally got rid of those stock wheels. But yeah, I'm gonna go pack my bags, and then we're gonna get in the car and head down to Halfway. It's a 4-hour drive, but it should be a sick event. Me and Oscar have entered the show and shine tomorrow, so look out for some footage of that. That'll be sick. Alright, and that's all. Thank you very much for watching. See you later.